Happy International Women's Day. Hey, I'm Amy and welcome back, and today I will be checking Thelma and Louise off the 1001 movie checklist. If you do not know what the 1000 movie checklist or 1000 movie challenge is, it is basically a challenge I've given myself to check every single film off the 1001 movies you must see before you die book. So far, I've checked off 193 films. If you want to know more, you can check out a playlist up there with every single film I have checked off so far and an intro video. This episode of the 1001 movie challenge is produced by one of my lovely patrons, Aaron M. Day. If you would like to find out how you can be a producer for the 1001 movie challenge or just a patron in general, you can check out the links in the description down below. As always, let's get started with a short summary. Two best friends set out on an adventure that soon turns into an escape from being hunted by the police as the two women run for the crimes that they've committed. Because this is a video for International Women's Day and it is about two very strong women, or two women becoming very strong together, one of them is already fairly strong and the other one, it's kind of her story of becoming a strong female protagonist. That's what I'm really going to focus on, that, and then the center of the story, which is the rape and the aftermath of that. So I'm not really going to focus on like Ridley Scott's directing abilities or how he directed this film or the acting choices that Geena Davis and Susan Sarandon made as their characters. I'm really going to be focusing more on the characters, the character growth of the two women, and the major story plots. The relationship that Thelma and Louise have is very similar, I would say, to the relationship that Thelma has with her husband, at least in the beginning of the film. Thelma is very beaten down by her husband. He is very controlling, very verbally abusive to her. He could be physically abusive. We don't necessarily see that all of that much. Louise definitely is more of the dominant figure in their relationship, and she controls Thelma. Thelma is very easily manipulated by many people, including herself and her own inhibitions. Once she's drunk, she does start to get manipulated by Harlan, and her emotions start to manipulate her into thinking that she's having fun before he actually does start to rape her. But there are points in the film after the rape and after Thelma becomes close with JD, she really starts to become a strong woman and finds her calling as a robber and really builds her confidence up from this. And there are two times I found very interesting where there was a literal 180-degree shift in the way their relationship played out. In these two moments, Louise was very timid and felt very much the way Thelma was at the beginning of the film. In the first instance, it is right after JD steals the money from the hotel room, and Louise sits on the floor and cries, and Thelma really becomes the more dominant one within the relationship. And the second instance, which is more of Louise playing along with Thelma's facade that she's putting up as they are holding up the police officer when they get pulled over. In this scene, Louise is very confused and fumbly and doesn't really know exactly what she should be doing, but I think that she is playing that up for the officer to make Thelma more of the bad guy and to make her seem more powerful in the eyes of the police officer. But it is a great power shift between the two women to show that Thelma is becoming more on her own, more confident, and is really becoming her own woman. And while the two together have a very great arc, I feel like there isn't much of an arc for Louise. She feels very similar throughout the entire film. She is a strong and independent woman. There is a little bit of her relationship, but I feel like it is definitely more of Thelma's story and Thelma breaking away from Daryl and becoming more confident and strong and independent. Finally, let's talk a little bit about the rape and the aftermath and how the two women handle it. After it happens, Thelma is really insistent on going to the police and reporting it, but Louise is very reluctant and says that nobody will listen to them, nobody will believe them, they'll say that you were asking for it. And she says this from experience. She ran away from being raped and nobody listening to her about it, and even though they've had similar experiences, Louise still doesn't want to talk about it because it was very traumatic for her. And I feel, not that I have been in this situation, but I feel like it is very indicative of what a lot of women feel like when they have been in this situation or been in situations similar to this. They don't want to talk about it for fear of rejection or people pushing them away or not even believing them that this is their story, their truth. I feel like that's a little upsetting that she doesn't want to talk about it, but it also feels very real and very true. However, on the flip side of that, Officer Hal is one of the very few male characters I've seen in any film of this topic that really trusts and understands what the women are going through, and he is genuinely there to help them. I feel like that is something that we need to see, especially a lot more nowadays in films like this. It's more of the women fighting to be heard, and there isn't somebody necessarily on their side to help them get heard. It's time for the clip, and I could have chosen the chase scene, the iconic chase scene, or the iconic driving off the cliff scene, but the clip that I did choose really spoke to me, and I felt better represented the themes and the story of Thelma and Louise.
Calm down, we're just having a little fun, that's all.
Looks like you got a real f***ed up idea of fun.
Come on. Come on.
Turn around. In the future, when a woman's crying like that, she isn't having any fun.
And that is all I have for Thelma and Louise. As always, these are just my opinions, but I'd love to know yours. Any comments down below. Let me know what you guys think of Thelma and Louise and what your favorite movie is to watch for International Women's Day. What are some strong female stories that you love to watch? If you want to know which ones I've checked off so far, or just follow my progress along in general, there are links to a Google Doc in the description down below with every single film I have checked off so far, or you can check my Letterboxd. I'm also an Amazon affiliate, so if you'd like to start the challenge for yourself, watch the movie I talked about today, or watch the movie I'm going to be talking about next time, there are links in the description, and anything you purchase from those links, I'll get a small percentage back that'll help make this channel even better. For the next film, I was going to start checking off the 2 James Bond films that are on the list, but because No Time to Die got pushed back from April to November, I'm pushing those 2 back. So instead, I will be checking off, for no real reason in particular, Audrey Hepburn in Roman Holiday. But thank you guys so much for watching. I really truly do appreciate you. Whoever you are, let me know here in the comments down below, and let's be friends. If you enjoyed this, leave a like and subscribe if you're new, because I love talking things, movies, TV shows, and making mystery, all that fun stuff. And I'll see you next time. Bye.